Hello and welcome to this short video on emotional intelligence. So what is emotional intelligence? At base level, it's the ability to understand and manage your own emotions. Taking that to the next level, this would be applying your understanding of your own emotions to understand the emotions of the others around you that you need to communicate with. And then moving on from that, it might even reach to managing the emotions of those people you need to communicate with. As functioning adults, we're all able to understand and manage our own emotions most of the time. This becomes difficult when we're dealing with particularly strong feelings. Parent-teacher communication can provoke strong feelings due to the parent's concerns for their child, their own experiences of education, and their understanding or lack of understanding about the schooling system. Hopefully during this video we'll give you some tools to help you manage your communication with parents to maintain positive and respectful parent-teacher relationships. So the 5 main elements of emotional intelligence are self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. Let's take a look at each of these in more detail. If you're self-aware, you always know how you feel and how your emotions and actions can affect the people around you. As teachers, we usually have a high level of self-awareness because we spend all day in a classroom with a group of people who have a low level of self-awareness. So, what can we do to improve levels of self-awareness? This is about slowing down, being mindful, and perhaps even meditation. Slowing down, taking a breath before you respond, counting to 10, all those things your mother told you to do when you were a child and you were angry. Being mindful, being present in the moment and feeling your emotions and then releasing them. And meditation can be very helpful with this. Perhaps it would be useful to take a few minutes to meditate before going into a meeting or a situation that you know is going to be taxing, to give yourself the time to centre yourself and remove the emotional responses that you might have. There are lots of good apps available for meditation with short guided meditations, and you can also download a lot of these type of meditations for teachers from the internet. Self-regulation is about staying in control. So again, as teachers, we're quite skilled generally at self-regulation. This is things like keeping a straight face when we're telling off that student who did something naughty that we found quite funny, or using our angry faces to manage behaviour even when we're in a really good mood. Good self-regulation comes from knowing your values, holding yourself accountable, and being calm. So again, knowing your values is about having a clear idea of what's important to you and choosing your battles, being aware of what you're willing to compromise on and what is a non-negotiable for you. Holding yourself accountable, admitting to your own mistakes. This is something that we're very good at as teachers because we're trying to model this type of behaviour for our students. And being calm, using your meditation and your mindfulness to help identify and manage unpleasant emotions. And I say unpleasant emotions rather than negative because anger and sadness are not pleasant, but they are useful, which means they're not negative. Motivation, you need to be aware of your motivations when you're going into any kind of communication, but particularly with parents. Re-examining the issue, knowing where you stand, and finally being hopeful. So re-examining the issue would mean you and the parent looking together at what the root of the problem is, because generally the parent will have a different perspective on it than you do, and what you want to do here is set yourself and the parent against the problem, immediately putting yourselves on the same side. Know where you stand, again, like I said before, knowing what you're willing to compromise and what things are non-negotiable for you. And be hopeful going into the meeting with a positive mindset and looking for a common ground and compromise in order to be able to resolve the problem. Having empathy is vital for positive communication. So looking inwards at your self-awareness, your self-regulation and your motivation is only half the story. we then need to apply this to the other person's emotional state. And empathy can be improved by putting yourself in their shoes, paying attention to body language and responding to feelings. Looking at the issue from the parent's point of view, we want to find out what is a particular problem for them, because quite often that will be different to what the problem is for us. And we want to take both sides of this and put them together as a whole problem that we can then deal with together. Again, putting yourself and the parent on the same side against the problem. Paying attention to body language is important. If you're aware of the non-verbal cues that show emotion, then you're there ready to respond to those emotions and be able to deal with those and address them before you then go on and try to communicate. Because again, like I said, where you've strong emotions and particularly the uncomfortable emotions make it very difficult for you to go on and communicate. Finally, social skills like conflict resolution and positive communication we'll look at in the next couple of videos. So, a little task for you now. Go onto the class stream and download the self-assessment inventory and complete that self-assessment on your emotional intelligence. So you're looking at yourself as a whole here, not just in work, but in your whole life. Then, once you've completed it, have a look at your results with a colleague or a friend who knows you well, and this will help hopefully to make sure that your self-assessment is as accurate as possible, so you can then make any amendments you need. After you've done that, you're going to reflect on any areas that you've scored as 3 or below, and make a little note at the bottom of the inventory form with ideas that you could use to help raise the score in this area. Once you've done that, pop over to the class stream and put a little comment for your colleagues of a suggestion for how to improve a score in any of the areas. It doesn't have to be one where you've scored low, it can be one that you're quite high on and that you have some good ideas for to help support your colleagues. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next video.